Sometimes I feel fat and unattractive. But then I go shop at Walmart, where the average customer is at least 400 pounds, and I'm nowhere near in that ballpark, so I feel great. Thank you, Walmart.
Yes, Walmart, where you can simply look around and feel better about yourself. Unless, of course, you're a regular. This is a Nailsin News Bulletin. Ohio sex worker had more than 200 clients while knowing she was HIV positive. Hello, I'm Mr. Nailsin. Yes, an Ohio hooker allegedly had contact with more than 200 clients despite knowing she was HIV positive, and state officials are warning anybody who engaged in risky business with her to come forward and get tested. Linda Lasessis, 30, had contact with at least 211 clients, a little more than 200, from multiple states in the 2 years since January 1st, 2022, which is around the time when she took an HIV test and learned she was positive for the potentially deadly virus. Lasessis solicited most of those clients on Market Street in Marietta, a small city in southeast Ohio on the border of West Virginia. But the possibly infected people are believed to be spread across the East Coast. This case could stem anywhere from Florida up the East Coast. There are local individuals that we will be reaching out to. Washington County Sheriff's Office Chief Deputy Mark Warden said in a press conference. Police have begun calling through known clients of Lasessis to alert them of the situation, and also are urging anybody else who may have had contact with her to reach out to authorities. They're not in trouble. This is a public health awareness. This is not a scam, said Warren. Anybody who may have been with Lasessis is asked to be brutally honest with officials. Marietta Belpre Health Department is a judgment-free zone with full confidentiality. Relatives of Lasessis, clients, and anybody who had sexual contact with them are also vulnerable to the risky business. Lasessis was arrested for soliciting sex on Market Street, after which police learned she was HIV positive and had known for more than 2 years. The next day, she was indicted for engaging in solicitation after a positive HIV test, a third-degree felony. Interestingly enough, if she had plied her trade in progressive California, she probably wouldn't be charged at all. Yeah, it's a nasty thing she did, but she had to make a living, and besides, you take one good look at her, and, well, you get what you paid for. This has been a Nailsin News Bulletin. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're going to be delayed for a little bit as we are waiting for your top flight attendant, Hot Biscuit. We're waiting on Hot Biscuit.
Oh, baby, the wait is over. Your prayers have been answered. That's right. Hot Biscuit is on the plane.
That's right, America. Yes, when you fly the friendly skies of Hot Biscuit Airlines, you get a little something extra.
Yeah, baby. Watch me strut. Yeah.
Hot Biscuit.
It's said that King Arthur was Britain's greatest ruler. Well, he got the throne by pulling a sword out of a rock. This gave him a massive hernia. He turned to Merlin, but eating rat tails and rubbing frog guts all over will not cure a hernia. Anyway, he couldn't fuck all that well on account of his condition. So his wife turned to Lancelot. Yeah, he hired a guy named Lancelot to guard his horny wife. So Lancelot lanced her, a lot. Meanwhile, Arthur got seduced by his sister, and their inbred offspring did him in. It's all sad if not so stupid. Still, though, Britain would be better off with a ruler like Arthur today.
right. Decided to go ahead and do a live stream here before I drift off into unconsciousness for another night of work. So, did quite a few doodlings, drawings, what have you, while at work, watching Pat Dixon's live stream. And the subject matter concerned Chad Zuma, Stuttering John, some Mersh, and a little bit of karmic kind of mentioned here and there. But the emphasis, for the most part, was Chad. Kevin Brennan was in there as well. So quite a few drawings inspired by those characters. And so, well, I'll put some color to them right here in front of you. Mike Bench says, "Hi, Doug. Where do you get photos of my girlfriend?" Really? Did I? I don't know. Hey, Thompson, LOL, Doug calls the hotline. Mike Penzer, it was all worth it. All right. Hey, Thompson, you damn right it was worth it. Mike Penzer, that burning sensation. Oh, the news story. See, I forgot about it. So, Mike, was that you in the lineup of her customers there? They tried to black out the eyes, but, well. Total pain in the ass, 9013 says, hot biscuit, nose, elbows. Mike Panzer, gots to get my freak on. From Hot Biscuit or, yeah. Hey, Thompson, Rudy has the meanest karmic cartoon. Oh, yeah. He's got that recent one he did. Holy crap. Yeah, that was pretty damn good. Mike Panzer, this is the song. Doug, what is it? Oh, it's an AI song I made up. What was that? I think I put in alternative rock and something. I can't even remember the whole prompt. And then I wrote the lyrics. There's several versions of it. Most of them, they just sort of, that was probably the best one. And then the second runner up was this sort of like a surf rock type sound. But yeah, that one I thought, well, that makes a good little theme song. And yeah, stuck with it. Mike Panzer, but really, y'all, I love women. Sometimes they come in a little rough. It's true. Mike Panzer, the hoe. Mike Panzer, it's a little early for you. It's actually late for me. Yeah. Mike Panzer, can I have it? It's killer. The song? Well, I mean, I guess you could just record it off of the live stream and, that's pretty much all there is. Hey, Thompson, I like the walking roach Doug did. That is mean enough for me. Yeah, someone said that, I don't know, Karmic said he saw his first roach ever, just like recently. And I don't know. It was odd. So, I don't know, to be helpful, I made it a giant roach that he could put on a leash as a pet, Yeah. All right. I've done one of these before. Caveman John, which was a Pat Dixon idea. And it really works with the super tip voice. So you go in there and you use caveman lingo, me like mammoth and all that sort of stuff. And John's voice works perfect for that dialogue. But anyway, John's all mad. He struck Shuli's channel, all that stuff. So that discussion, was, analyzed, it's weird because he's not really a fat guy, but his, the jowls and stuff come out. And it's kind of like when I was looking at an image of him on the live stream last night, it's like the earlobes were bulging out, but the top of the ear kind of disappeared behind. I don't know. It was strange. Anyway, I've done one of these before. The previous one's probably the better of this, but this one I decided to do it with a sort of leopard print in the hide that he's wearing, you know. Just one of those sort of typical caveman kind of looking outfits, usually reserved for our circus strongmen and stuff. And in the clips in Pat's show, well, this lovely Asian lady was talking to him, and I believe she was a lawyer. And I guess she was supposed to discuss the potential of his legal cases that he believes he can use to his advantage against his enemies, you know, I guess meaning Shuley and Carl or whatever. Anyway, but for the most part, he was flirting with her. And then, well, if he couldn't get her, what about her sister? And she did say her sister was single. And I can't remember because the woman said, yeah, she was divorced, but I guess she's with someone else now, whatever. But she says, yeah, it gets tough in your later years, you know, to find somebody and stuff like that. And but such is the situation for her sister, who I believe was actually older, and all that. So, but she made mention, but you know, she's kind of gullible. Well, this interested John. Oh, say, because then he could pull the wool over her eyes, you know, maybe even get her in the sack. Yeah. Now, the woman made mention of that she doesn't handle alcohol well. Oh, it goes right to her head. This also excited John. So it went like that, you know. And but the caveman John aspect does apply so many ways. So pretty good call on Pat Dixon. So I had to make a cartoon caveman John, and this will be the second one. I don't know why I bothered to put the little lines in there when I can use Photoshop to make it more of the the mustache, well, the stubble, because he hasn't grown a full mustache, but he kind of needed to shave that day in the video, but just hadn't. Anyway, there were some things in there where he was mad at Pat, so he was playing clips, and Pat was just saying that he's against striking channels, you know, especially because nothing really serious had happened. It's just somebody gets the better of you humor-wise, and you don't like it, and you can't think of a means by which to strike back because, well, your jokes just don't land as good as theirs does. And this happens quite a bit. I mean, there really wouldn't be any Dabbleverse at all if everybody gave as good as they got, you know, that kind of thing. So what the case is the guy that's making fun of your videos or whatever, for the most part, and this is certainly the case with John, whether it's Shuley or anyone else, all you got to do is just watch his show and let it play and stuff like that. You know, you don't really have to embellish it at all. And there you go. You've got this unintentional hilarity, at least not in the way you would like. You know, it's always at his expense, and it's damn it. Which the irony of what he's done lately is just one of those things. Of course, the lawsuits, same thing, all that is confirms the point. You know, very petty, very, very, very sensitive, and just looks very pathetic and weak. You know, because so there's really only a two options in this sort of thing. Is sure, you can do the same. You can give them a dose of their own medicine and stuff like that. Problem is, if you're not really that comedically capable, it's not really going to land well. And so then the only other option is just, well, what are you going to do? And basically ignore it. Now, he's tried. He's always announcing he's leaving the internet, whatever. He's not going to be podcasting anymore or something like that. It never really lasts very long. He does, come back and all that. And so almost kind of sort of almost hit that option. Finally, there is a third one, and this it was talking a bit about I guess it was Pat's show, whatever, or maybe it was just mine, about Jocktober and stuff like that, where occasionally some of these guys could turn it around, and they have a good attitude about it, and like they would even come on the Opie and Anthony show, and they would all have a laugh and talk about it and stuff, and you kind of you end up winning the respect of the people that were basically making fun of your show more than anything else. But the problem for John is he can't take any of that, and it too much has happened, since this thing started and all that. So I don't expect him to suddenly have an epiphany that's wait a minute, or anything like that. So he's just always going to lash out, proving the point that it really gets to him, and also that he doesn't really have the skill or talent or anything to deal with. Most of this is just basically the observations of his own broadcasts or appearances or what have you. So he ends up being his own worst enemy, which is, again, another typical aspect of these Dabbleverse characters. None of their quote unquote enemies can lay a finger on them quite the way they do to themselves. I mean, just look at Aaron Himholt. Good Lord. Melton hasn't done nothing to him compared to what he's done to himself, and that's so. Such is the case. Stuttering John. I mean, you go on your shows, your live stream, what have you, and snot's coming out of your nose, and you show up drunk on it, stuff like that, and then somebody notices this. Well, who's the one who pushed the go live? It was you, and so that's that. Then of course this it inspired quite a few people to pretty much do the same thing. So he'd get porn bombed and stuff like that, and he would fall for it all the time. And once that's well established, boy, it's tough to come back from it, and more is like you position yourself as some sort of comedic guy, one who at least dabbles in comedy, and yet can't take a joke. Now, some of this, I suppose, like it feeds on itself. Things got nastier and nastier, and striking a channel is pretty damn rotten, especially since nobody really did anything to him. There's no anything that's dangerous or anything like that. All it is, laughing at the foolishness of this man. And striking the channels out of spite only adds to and confirms the foolishness in the case to be made that very, very small. But hey, look, I get this cartoon out of it. Now, one of the things was I didn't get around to drawing anything and to this, but he was, I don't know, he was mad at Pat for his commentary on this, and decided, he knew how to take Pat down. He says, "Why are you wearing a suit all the time?" I mean, I could answer that. I tend to wear a suit on when I appear on shows too. Sure, I got the idea from Pat, but I look good in a suit. I just look like a regular slob when I'm not in one. I look so much better in the suit. So that's it. And then Pat was mentioning it. It's actually John was on one of the shows. I forget. It wasn't his. It was someone else's. Damn, who was he talking to? I can't remember. Anyway, I think he had said he had been in a wedding or whatever. He comes on plastered, but he I guess he was talking to Kiki. I think that's who he's. But anyway, he was in a suit, and he actually looked a lot better, in the suit. But of course, Pat said he looked like a crappy lawyer or something of that nature. So it comes down to, hey, look, there's all these potential sitcom or TV series for John. So of course, Caveman John could be one, but also just a really crappy lawyer. Unlike all the other shows where, the lawyers are actually brilliant and they save their clients from going to prison and stuff like that. Melendez, attorney at law, would just be this complete moron. And it was just a matter of how bad would it go. And, that made for a good show. But ultimately, it's like you would constantly see his lawyer character literally chasing after ambulances and the like, which, it probably that would be a cartoon, like in the old days when shows had cartoons would open the show. That would be for the John show. And as long as he can just get over himself and be fine with people seeing him as an idiot, hell, he'd probably make bank. He could do it pretty good. I mean, he's going to need a director and everything to make sure he, looks at the camera and stuff like that. But, that would probably work. But anyway, it's not the bad. The one I did before, and I don't know what file I put it in, but I think it does show up in the opening of the show. And it's a better one. Plus the arm's a little elongated here. Oh, well, that'll have to do. Caveman John. So then we move on to the Tippy Toe Stalker. Chad Zumach, who went to Melton's house like he was going to call him out for a fight, I guess. Fortunately for him, Mersch was asleep and didn't even know he was there. Because I don't know if he had come out, would Chad have just run away? I don't know. But since then, I guess he didn't get the reaction he wanted or whatever. And then said he actively encouraging people to go to Mersch's house. Now, this gets into actionable territory where Mersch within his rights to file a complaint with the police, and gave him a chance apparently to apologize, for making this threat. But of course, Chad wasn't going to do that. So, I guess the report will be filed. And it is crossing the line when you do something like that. And bad enough he went over there to pull this stupid stunt. But then to actively encourage people to go to Mersch's house and all that sort of stuff. You really don't know who's out there and the kind of crap you could be initiating. So, you get caught up in this stuff and someone's crapping on you and everything, and it's getting to you. Showing that it's getting to you is not going to help. And then claiming that you don't care. Well, you never would have gone to the guy's house if you didn't really care what he said and all that sort of stuff. So you defeat yourself constantly in this back and forth. But the thing to do is it goes back once again that, Mersch's making fun of you. Well, you've got a live stream. You've got a channel. Make fun of him. But somehow, your jokes just don't land as good as his does. And, that's a problem for you, isn't it? So the more frustrated you get about it, and you're very frustrated about it, you end up only hurting yourself. And God forbid you should encourage somebody to actually do something serious. Some nut, you never know. Nothing Mersch did warranted anything like that. So you don't have to like him. You can sit on your channel all day and crap on him, call him an asshole, whatever, But that would be in kind of what he did. He's sitting there with his Burger King crown, saying you're an idiot. And what do? You go and do something idiotic, the dumbest thing you could do. So, but then simple enough there, this one guy got mad at this other guy, goes to his house and that sort of thing. But then there's this business of Chad's girlfriend. He's supposed to have moved in with this girl rather recently. And they were going to have Thanksgiving with her family. But the details he described, she was supposed to bring the entire prepared meal, turkey, the stuffing, all that, apparently, to the family's house when you're the guest being invited to the house. I don't know. It was strange. So on and so forth. However, she became aware of this stunt he pulled on Mersh. And apparently she was very upset about this and decided she didn't want anything to do with that kind of behavior or something. So that's Mersh unwittingly broke up this romance with the girlfriend. Of course, most have concluded, and it's hard not to reach that conclusion. So the girlfriend never really existed, which I think he is 50 years old now. And of course, immediately, everybody, I'm sure, myself included, instead of George Glass, it was Georgia Glass. It's girl, the old Brady Bunch episode where poor Marcia, and she couldn't get a boyfriend, and so she just lied and said there was this guy she was seeing, and they go, what's his name? And she's like, and I can't remember where the George name came from. Maybe it was George Washington or whatever. And then there was this glass sitting on the table, and she's George Glass. So there you go. George Glass was Marcia's boyfriend. So many suspected the same was true here for Chad. Now, he creates this phantom girlfriend, and immediately there's all kinds of questions. Why don't you have her come on? Let's say hi to her or whatever. And of course, it's not an unreasonable thing to say, she don't want to do that. And well, sure, you can imagine quite a few people, because, and these people do exist. They don't want to be online. They don't have not even a Facebook account, a Twitter account, any of that, Sure, they'll watch YouTube, but they don't have their own channel and stuff and that kind of thing. And so that in and of itself. But then they said, well, all right, sure, but let's see some evidence that there's a female presence in your home. And, well, there really didn't appear to be any. So the suspicion continued. So eventually he's like, all right, I've had my phantom romance, but I'll never be able to prove it's real on account of it not being real. So it's got to end some kind of way. I know, I'll say she was in a car crash. No, you can't do that. That's, yeah, people might check into that. Okay, we broke up. And I don't know if that was supposed to be the overall plan. I don't believe he thinks things through to their fullest. But after this dust up with Mersh, he decided to combine the two in order to deal with his phantom girlfriend problem. And so, thanks to Mersh being Mersh and pissing me off, my girlfriend is gone. So, what a tragic end to the Chad and Georgia Glass romance. Oh, well. Everyone had such high hopes, I mean, if Chad could find love, maybe we all could. So anyway, didn't work out apparently, and on Thanksgiving and everything, so, and I guess, I don't know, I guess the dinner didn't happen at all? I don't know. I mean, obviously, no, it didn't, on account of, if she doesn't exist, then I suspect the entire family doesn't either. Wow, a whole family just ceased to exist because, well, they never did. So I guess it doesn't really matter, but still, yeah. But, well, That's yeah, I'm starting on Karmic here, or I guess Caddy Z. Not even Karmic did that. So I don't know. It's strange. But anyway, so one of the drawings I did, if I get to it in time here, which I'll turn into a little comic strip about what supposedly happened. That Chad's girlfriend was horrified by this stunt that he pulled against Mersh. Not because she has some crush on Mersh. You know, it's not like Matt Mead and Scarlett Hampton or whatever. But no, she was concerned Chad could get himself into all kinds of trouble. It could go terribly wrong. And she decided, she just can't be with a man who lives so dangerously like that. And she had to move on. Yeah. Which again, unwittingly, of course, due to the absence of wit, Chad is basically admitting there that he's the reason it all went south. He thinks it's like this is Mersh's fault. But let's say the girlfriend's real and this breakup really happened, like the way he described. It's not Mersh's fault. It's Chad's. It's like the girlfriend says, I can't take any more of this stupid. This is too much stupid. There's only so much stupid a Goyle can take, And Phantom girlfriend reached her limit, And so she faded away, I guess, as ghosts are wont to do. But Chad cannot see the truth. He can only become more bitter and hateful towards, well, in this case, Mersh, I guess. Oh, all right, he'll go back to being pissed off at someone else eventually. But for the time being, he'd be like, Mersh! Ooh! I guess it's like Captain Kirk screaming at Khan, but him, it's Mersh! Mersh! Which is pretty much what he was doing outside Mersh's house, Make me laugh, Mersh. Make me laugh. And calling out to random people on the street, Mersh? Mersh? And there's some crazy guy out here. And he didn't really do himself any favors. I don't know. It's just more evidence to the inability to think this through. And totally incapable of recognizing how this comes across. Yeah. So, man, why are you doing all this? He said mean things about me. I didn't like it. I'm gonna cuss him out. She said, no, I just wanted to laugh or something like that. She says, no, you're trying to appear threatening and intimidating to this man. Yeah. Ah, crap. I forgot what do you call it? Is it a boa thing or what do they call that? The gay scarf. It's all feathery and stuff. Damn it, I can't remember. Well, I'll have to think of something here. It'll be quite the challenge. Yes. Yes. There we go. Put this here. Good enough for blue jeans, I guess. Although Caddy Z would probably be like in leather pants or some bullshit like that. See, that'll be the next thing. He's got to go find a pair of pants like that. Damn it. Of course, I don't know if those would stretch enough for the leg guitar sessions and all that. All right. And now we have to do his makeup. There we go. Shit, what the hell? There we go. Yeah, gonna have to, let's see, I think, I don't even remember what color. Damn. Let's see. Not that, I gotta go through. Oh, damn it. I did it again. Well, I'll just have to go through. Let's see if there's any. That's more like leaves. I don't know. I have to do it in a separate layer. But it is more like leaves, so it's not really going to. So then, let's see. Oh, wait, I'm doing. Yeah. Okay. Something like that. Okay. No. Jeez. Maybe. Okay. Maybe one of these. Okay. So it's basically the leafy template, but it kind of works. Not entirely. But, yeah, something like that. I don't really recall what can't remember much about the hat. Okay. All right. There we have our characters. We'll add some amount of detail here. And there we go. Caveman John's Tippy Toe Stalker and Caddy Z. Yeah. Not entirely certain where I'll place these, but I'll think of something. There we go. This one here was another attempt. Stuttering John, didn't really work out all that great. Some turn out better than others, you know. But here we go with Chad again, all upset about Mersh. And now Kevin took some amount of umbrage, as quite a few people have noticed that he always protects and defends his boy Chad. Well, he just said that's ridiculous. Do nothing of the sort. Only here for the material and whatnot. And yet, in one clip after another, he's initiating the defense against him rather than Chad himself. So, yeah, he protects his boy. Why? I don't know. That's the interesting question. But it does happen. Other people are, not forgiven for in the case of Chad, he went on Shuli's show. For just about anybody else, that would be unforgivable. You would never do the MLC again. But for some reason, Chad can. And then it was like when Chad was briefly had super tips. Now, Kevin brought up some irritation with the reality of that. But that's about it. And then I Chad stupidly gave that up. I don't know. I mean, but nevertheless, even though the Chad would say, "Oh, it's just a business thing," which it was. Which ordinarily you would think that would be a big no-no and no more MLC or whatever, but it was fine. So this would detail an image. I guess it's like a whole series at this point because it keeps happening over and over. different Dabbleverse characters have quite a few different people living rent free in their heads. And for Chad, there's quite a few people who can end up in there. But recently, that would be Mersh. But of course, Melton was in there. Pat Dixon was in there for a time. I think he really hated Steel Toe for a while, so even Aaron Himmel got into his head. No real desire, and not that any of them wanted to be in his head, but I guess it happened. But for this image, so I don't know if I'll go with these when I get it fully realized. I want to work on Mersh here. But that's the deal. It would be these Mersh heads with the Burger King crown on floating around. It's not good. Saying the problem he had with Melton was Melton made him feel. And the sad thing there is he's got nothing to feel good about. So he really doesn't like it when you make him feel. No. And I guess you can see his point, you know. So anyway, continuing in that. So here's Kevin. And boy, he tends to babble. Maybe that's because I haven't watched his show in a long time. But there was quite a few Doom clips Pat was watching. And of course, Doom being a fellow employee, as you know, Tass and I are of the Dixon Concern Productions. So can't wait to hang out at the company party, Doom. That'll be cool. But nevertheless, this is when he was going on about how absurd it was that he, protected Chad and all that. And he was discussing, like, I guess, the mileage that any one of these Dabbleverse characters have, which it is true. There is that, and certainly it wanes here and there. I mean, in the beginning, Stuttering John was the center of the Dabbleverse. That isn't the case anymore. For a while there, Aaron Himmel really unseated him. And then, he finally had to go to jail. It kind of culminates in that, plus the last Hackamania with all those revelations. That just the fascinating thing about Aaron Imholt is that all the bullshit said about him turns out to be true. He's like, oh, come on, Polycule, get real. Oh, it's true. Oh, come on. Yeah, one thing after another. He didn't do that with Nick's, oh my God, he did. Just good Lord. So that was the fascinating thing there. That all of it was true. And then ultimately, in his anguish, gets himself sent to jail. Primarily, and actually he had almost won that, but he couldn't shut up. So off to jail he went. He did his time. Then he got out and he's back on his show. But for the most part, it might actually be over. There might not be enough interest in him anymore. The only thing left is for him to stupidly violate the terms, and he could have to go back to jail. So he can never, for the duration anyway, mention Ms. Ricada. Should he do that? Well, the thing of it is that he's very compulsive and stupid enough to do just that. So it could happen. And primarily that would be the only thing to get him back to the center, you know. So while that was going on, of course, Karmic steps into the fray with a very bizarre display, and it just keeps going. And the thing about Karmic is now he's found another way when he does this Caddy Z character and all that. It's like, holy crap, boy, it's a character that seemed to fit like a glove, you know. And one can't help but conclude such. But ultimately, all of it was, when does the crash? Because he's crashed several times, but this romance that he's indulging with Ron Fuddle, when's it going to absolutely end? How long can Fuddle put up with it? Has Fuddle somehow found something fulfilling in a relationship with, and, you know, well, look, stranger things have happened. I don't know. And then, well, you know what? It all works out. It's funny how life, you know, goes, you know. But for the most part, it was, oh man, it's going to be so bad. And in some aspects, it was kind of scary, you know. But then, you know, the Caddy Z and the like, and other things. Like, apparently, now this I was unaware of. Someone came in the chat and said, hey, you need to draw Karmic walking or having a pet roach, something like. So, of course, I drew a roach that was practically the size of a dog, and he's walking down the street with it. But this was all prompted by him saying he had just seen his first roach that day or whatever. And because this is just on the list of, I don't know, the first time he'd seen a Walmart or something. I don't know what it was all entailed. First ride on a roller coaster, just on and on. Of course, the great discovery of the sex mask. Oh boy, was he quite taken with that. And just one thing after another, like he's, you know, the wild boy of Borneo or something. Just, it was found in the jungle and knows not of our ways of electricity and toilet paper. You know, I mean, it's all very strange. And now, well, his first cockroach. But anyway, just to encourage the surrealism and whatnot, decided, hey, it would be a good image if it was the size of a dog. And he's walking the pet roach down the street. Because we know Fuddle wasn't going to walk it. Karn, get out there and walk. I don't know what would be the pet name for the roach. And so off he goes. Got to do what his goddess tells him to do, and he does, you know. Anyway, there's Kevin. So here's an illustration of Chad and the girlfriend. Uh, so here we have Chad on, I guess, Thanksgiving, you know, and the sad scene of the relationship coming to an end. And he was so angry with Mersch that his attempt to get the better of Mersch blew up in his face yet again and ended up hurting the woman he loved. Yeah. And, well, you can understand the frustration and the heartbreak, not the least of which on a holiday like Thanksgiving. I mean, my God, that now it's probably going to haunt him for a while. You know, I mean, how serious was he about this girl? You know, I mean, sometimes it can be very serious. I mean, it could be like, hey, she was the one, you know, and then somehow, some way, it all went wrong. Suddenly, it was not good. And we all know why. Mersch. Mersch is quite the homewrecker. That's what he does. He just goes in and kills the romance of innocent people. So apparently that's how Chad sees it. And he had a good thing going there. But then, you know, the girlfriend was just frightened by this activity he indulged in that she perceived as threatening and dangerous. And so she just, you know, she just can't be with somebody who does stuff like that. And she just had to go her own way, you know. But one can't help but wonder if Mersch had just left well enough alone. You know, maybe wedding bells were not too far in the future. But we'll never know now because of the terrible machinations of Mersch. Yeah. So anyway, that's supposedly how the story is supposed to go and how you're supposed to interpret it and perceive it. And it's all very sad and unfortunate. But this is the world we live in, you know, and you don't want to believe some outside force can have such an impact and effect on your most intimate of relationships. And yet, it can. And you can understand how some people would think, you know what? I'm never going to forgive him for this. I'm really not. Everything was going great until the day Mersch pissed me off. And, well, I decided I'm going to be a man and make a stand. Stuff like that, you know. And yet, it was interpreted in other ways. Not by people in the Dabbleverse laughing and pointing and staring and getting the whole wrong idea about it. But 'twas the thoughts of his beloved. This he did not anticipate. But in spite of it all, I guess he felt he was in the right on this. And this had to be true. I guess it's really sad that Georgia Glass didn't see it that way, you know. and couldn't see it in her heart to support her man. You know? If only. But it didn't go that way. So anyway, here's the depiction of her as a blow-up doll. It's really the only option we have here. I'll just go ahead and add a line there. And here she is, very, very concerned about what Chad has done. And somehow this got to her. Somehow someone knew how to reach out to her and tell her, do you realize what your boyfriend just did? And she was so mortified by this. Chad, no. What are you doing? No. No. And so I had to. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. He's not good. And, she's like, well, a lot of people aren't good. You don't have to go stalk them at their house. Chad. It's not stalking. I was on the sidewalk. But, and, we don't know what kind of past traumas and the like that Georgia might have been through. And this might have conjured up bad memories of things like that. And there's Chad acting out those impulses. And this probably told her something. Oh, I don't ever want to be around that again. Yeah. And before Chad could explain, it's not like that. And I would never. And away she went, Somehow the romance deflated and blew out the window. Just out the window, And what are you going to do? Of course, it's going to hurt, especially knowing that Mersh is going to realize, I can't believe I broke it up with his imaginary girlfriend. How about that? I mean, that wasn't even really the intention, and yet, well, look at this. And then, will Chad let the seething rage only grow? Damn you. Damn you, Mersh. Damn you. Could it go like that? Yeah. I'll try to put like little details here on the inflatable nature of the doll here. Yeah, maybe even on the bikini. I don't know. There you go. So, I guess it didn't work out. That's basically the conclusion. So this would be the dialogue, Chad, how could you go to that man's house? You could have been shot or arrested. And, he doesn't really have an answer. He doesn't fully understand it himself, But, she packed all her stuff and left. He didn't try to stop her, He just, damn you, Mersh. Damn you. And in a way, maybe it's kind of what he wanted, because now he's got another reason to really hate Mersh. It justifies his bitter rage and hatred against this man. And now he's like, I lost the woman I love because of you. That's why you're not good. I guess. But actually, it just gives him a story that he thinks will work, I guess. That, the reason my girlfriend's not around is because we broke up because Mersh scared her away. That's what happened. The boogeyman showed up. She got scared on Thanksgiving. And that's it. We're done. It's over. Done. It's a fact check. And that's all she wrote. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah. So in a way, it kind of works out for him, I guess. I don't know. Meanwhile, of course, yes, Kevin says he doesn't defend him. It's just all material. I'm not trying to turn him into a stuttering John. Well, no one else is either. Each character has their own thing. They're all stupid in a lot of ways, but they all have their own narratives and stories. And kind of works out. I mean, hell, even Kevin himself, the way he would go into things was all this rambling, meandering thing. He goes off into Haiti when they had the earthquake, and then people didn't care anymore after they got tired of it, and that's analogous to Dabbleverse. Something else. He's got to do the show for the money, or his wife will leave him. And somehow, some way, that's how and why he doesn't defend Chad, but does talk about Chad. But in the exercise of the actual discussion, provides more defense of his actions and positions than Chad himself. But surely this is mere coincidence. So anyway, there we have it. Stuttering John, Caveman John, Chad, Caddy Z, Chad, haunted by the image of a Burger King crowned Mersh, and of course, Kevin and Chad, the tragic conclusion of his recent romance. Yeah. Well, what do you got? What can you say? You know, it's tough, especially during the holidays. Yeah. All right. Mike Benja says, I'm a tech-tard. I don't even have a tablet. Mike Penzer, how do you do that? What were we talking about? You mean to record the song? I guess you could download one of the audio, like Audacity probably could do it. And once you set it, this gets complicated. Set it to record what's broadcast on your desktop, then you'd be able to record it. You just play the opening of the show and set it to record, and then you could edit it down. And there it is. There's the song. Hey, Thompson, Asian ladies are hot. Yeah, but it's like all kinds of ladies. Some are really hot. Some are really not. Enrage 40. Stut Joe is quite short, Doug. Possibly 5'4" at most. You have him looking tall. Oh, well, I don't know. I put him up against Chad, who I understand is very tiny. I don't know about Comrick. He's probably taller than both of them. He's probably the tallest one there. So, yeah, You can fix it in post, you know. Hey, Thompson, I don't really want to hang out with Mersh. Then don't. Hey, Thompson, I would like to take Doug to IMAX. Who's IMAX? Hey, Thompson, no homo. Yeah, you better not. Mike Panther, yes, we will all go to the IMAX with our dates. You mean the blow-up dolls? Det Gross. If Doug comes to Hackamania, I will take him to the Vegas Sphere. Oh, yeah, that thing. Yeah, that would be cool, wouldn't it? Yeah. Mike Panther, I'm inking this copy of the cover of Detective Comics 70. I will post it in about an hour on Twitter. All right. Detective Comics 70. Like the original run? Hey, Thompson, I forgot to mention, they are putting 2 IMAX movies back in there for round 2. Sinners, oh, you mean the movies in the, okay. Sinners is one of them. Other one, I don't remember. Yeah, I wasn't that blown away by Sinners. You know, I mean, it's well shot, you know, and it's got some cool elements to it. But ultimately, it's kind of a lackluster Dusk Till Dawn scenario, you know. Det Gross. Doug's drawings are way too forgiving. All 3 of these are not drawn faggy enough. None of these people have touched a female in a while. Yeah, well, yeah, I guess so. But that is true. The drawings are more flattering. Sometimes got to do them several times over to get to the truth of one's appearance. Mike Pender, yes, we will have a Christmas miracle. Well, let's hope so. Hey, Thompson, that is where we are with movies. Re-releasing to try and get people in the seats. It's said, well, yeah, they got to stop producing garbage. Yeah. And with too many years of garbage, eventually you've got practically a whole generation not familiar with the concept of going to the movies. And once you lose that, it's going to be very difficult to convince them to try it out later in their lives, you know. Mike Panther, this is what program software type? Audacity. It's literally spelled Audacity, like you're being audacious, but it's Audacity. It's free. You can download it and check that out. Look for tutorials on YouTube. It'll show you the bells and whistles, and you can use that to record stuff off of, off the internet, your desktop, what have you. I think 8,000. I think Mortal Kombat was in there on a Friday and sold 2 tickets. It's getting bad. Well, yeah, but that's a really old one, isn't it? Mike Panther, no, Doug. I used to have real girlfriends, not a yeah, not the blow. Of course, to be fair, a blow-up doll is not imagined. I mean, I guess you're imagining the conversation. Hey, Thompson, I'm trying to hold on. I can't do it anymore. I wanted to see Predator, but didn't. Those superhero movies really ruined it for me. Well, Predator's not a superhero movie. You didn't see Badlands? I thought you wanted to see it. Mike Panther, crazy. Thompson, Zootopia is Zootopia. Boy, they really are. Of course, you know, I mean, look, you get a shot to see like an old classic and stuff. That's always a good thing to do, you know. Mike Panther, be right back. All right, Mike Panther's taking a break. Total pain in the ass. KB once broke Chad. So that's what happened to him. Total pain in the ass. Starchy head under Z cap. Yeah. Total pain in the ass. Oh, A. Thompson. Yeah, KB is getting old. It happens. It happens to everybody, you know. A. Thompson, great drawing. Why, thank you. A. Thompson, the roach's name is Final Boss. Okay, all right then. Nick Link 1. LOL, how did I stumble into the Doodleverse? Well, you saw me doodling. Nick Link 1. Georgia Glass is a bar. It all makes sense now. Total pain in the ass. Jason Shelley, he claims she doesn't pay attention to DV goings on, but we're supposed to believe one of her friends does? Another plot hole, in my opinion. Yes. It's just, it's one thing, just like, yeah, I'm single. I'm a loser with the girls. What can I say? And this is me talking. Yes. But to go in, no, I got this girlfriend. We're living together, and all. And oh my God, kids would do that in high school. And, yeah, I got a girlfriend. She's like from out of town, and all this sort of thing. And but that's kids. My God, at this age to do something like that. Total pain in the ass. Bikini made in Sanford. Total pain in the ass. Chad's exacting upper lip. Yeah. There's not much there. He tends to chew his mouth a lot. You ever notice that? Adrian No Chrome Joe. Chad's imaginary girlfriend left him for that trip. Yes. She was very concerned. Didn't like him going to Mersh's house. And, imaginary girlfriend's got a point. It's like, damn, Chad. It's one thing to be crapping on each other online, but don't go to the guy's house. But that's the thing. He's basically admitting that Mersh got the better of him. Mersh is better at put downs than he is. And that's basically him ceding the victory to Mersh. Yeah. And that's that. What are you going to do? Well, he's going to lose. That's what he's going to do. Oh, well, what are you going to do? All right. Let me, before I take off, I got to do the super tip section. Jason Shelley. I have a girlfriend. She goes to another school. Yes. Yes. Such is the case. Yeah, you guys don't know what I got. I got a girlfriend. Happy holidays. Well, thank you. Happy holidays to you too. And thank you very much for the $10. Yeah. So there we have it. Another live stream with Mr. Nailsin doing drawings. Well, I did the drawings at work. That's right. Boy, if I could that would be too much of a problem. If I tried to set up a camera in there, and it's like, you're at work. But I brought them home and put color to them, and I'll fit these in, especially the Chad's conversation with his girlfriend there. That will make it into a comic strip for the next issue of Doodleverse Comics. I got quite a bit already, plus my just basic doodles, some of the characters that come in there, stuff like that, and a couple other things. Throw that in there. Should make a pretty good sizable book, much bigger than the last one. And we'll have that out, and we'll certainly let you know, because you're going to want to know. You're going to want to know about Doodleverse Comics. But you're probably thinking, but Doug, where the hell could I even get such a thing? Well, you're in luck, because I haven't quit the show just yet, and I can go and show you where you go to get Doug Nailsin comic books. So it's embarrassingly taking me longer than it should, but don't worry. Don't fret. I most certainly will find it. Where the hell there you are. Oh my goodness. I'm so proud of the super tip. I'm going to leave it there. But anyway, you head over to indieplanet.com/Douglas hyphen. I almost sound like Bauer. I said Douglas. No, it's Douglas hyphen Nelson. That's right. indieplanet.com/Douglas-Nelson. Look, it even says Douglas Nelson at the page. Hey, that's me. So there's the first Doodleverse comics with Opie, with Anthony Cumia living rent-free in his head. One of a series. There's several characters who go through this, Chad Zumach being one. Here's Etc. Woman, which was based on a co-worker of mine who said she wanted to be in a comic book. So there it is, her fighting a rat man. But the big star is Night Knight. Yes, the Night Knight comics are based on audio plays that are regularly featured in my podcast, The Mr. Nailsin Show. New episode up probably right now over at radiomisfits.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Amazon, Spotify, whatever. And regularly features the audio plays. Yes, I do all the voices. And I started doing comic books based on those stories. So there's Night Knight number 1, Night Knight number 2, Night Knight number 3, Sun King, also based on audio plays. So Sun King is the Superman parody, whereas Night Knight is the Batman parody. I know you're shocked. And the backup feature for Sun King is Bubba Stargone, which is a sci-fi parody of the likes of Flash Gordon, Star Trek, and Star Wars, all that wrapped up in one long-winded story. And so it's featured in that as well. Currently working on finishing up the second issue, which will be there shortly, along with Doodleverse comics too. And then I'll move on to Night Knight number 4, which is part 2 of the death of Night Knight. Don't worry, the title is grossly exaggerated. Plus, backup features of Night Knight's early years. Oh yeah, how did it all get started? Well, it tells you. So anyway, tons and tons of those audio plays have been throughout the Mr. Nailsin Show, destined, provided I live long enough, to be comic books at some point. But the audio plays are there. Now, the archive of the audio plays, I do have them in marathon format on Rumble and YouTube in my playlist on my channel. But the individual episodes, I've paywalled on my locals, nelsonratings.locals.com, and quite a bit of those are there. But they are available free, elsewhere, certainly within the confines of the podcasts themselves. The Mr. Nailsin Show podcast is free, but it takes a lot of work to dig through all of that. So, but if you want to do it the easy way, you got to pay me. But nevertheless, the comic books, there they are. So that's our sponsor for today's show, and you're going to want to check that out. Oh, yes, you are. So anyway, there we go. Oh, wasn't that fun? Yes, it was. And tomorrow will be the Mr. Nailsin Sunday Comics. I have a story ready for you. I'll read that. I don't know. I'll probably do something extra. Maybe I'll draw a picture on that one. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I'll see you tomorrow morning for that one. And I'm continuing stories out of the comic book anthology that had the Thanksgiving story. So we'll wrap that one up in the next, probably continue on in the next Sunday Comics show next week. And then I'll probably look for some Christmas stories, that kind of thing, for the rest of the month. Yeah. Saint Ranger says Doug is an excellent artist. Thanks, Saint Ranger. I appreciate that. Saint Ranger says very entertaining and enjoyable. Well, there you have it. And who's going to argue with that? Not me. No, I'm not. So thanks for stopping by, Saint Ranger. Greatly appreciated. And thank you, the people, for spending a brief amount of time with me as I colored my artwork. Yeah, that's what I did. All right, we'll meet again soon, and we'll see what happens then. Yeah, we sure will. Have a good rest of your day, everybody.
As the song goes, Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Turns out that was truer than most realize. People think Spider-Man shoots webs out of these devices on his wrists that he invented. This is true, but he also naturally shoots webs out of his ass. But webbing wasn't very practical, so he made the wrist things. However, sometimes, especially after a bout of diarrhea, Spider-Man ended up with his ass glued to the toilet seat. So when Dr. Octopus robs a bank or the Green Goblin bombs a hospital, people ask, where the hell was Spider-Man? Turns out he was stuck on the potty.